Dimmadel felt a vast mix of emotions as she shared her temporary goodbyes with her coven sisters. On one hand, she was happy to have such friends that now not only knew who she really was, but also accepted her. She didn't think there could have been a better outcome, other than perhaps everyone surviving. How the coven was going to cope without its former members was another thing heavy on her mind. From 12 to 13 they had been once she joined, now from 13 to 9 they were numbered. Crossing the hill towards the paths and roads that lead to Mount Mine, she contemplated what all this new power and responsibility was going to come to for her. She also couldn't help but feel that her Lady Maribel identity wasn't going to last much longer now that the coven knew who she really was. Sighing as her recent victories started to dissolve into feelings of worry, she felt the familiar jolt from her brooch change her perspective. She was stronger now. She knew how to take care of herself and those she loved. Prophesize and fate be damned. She knew she was a good person. And so she began walking with renewed purpose, and as she neared the entrance of Mounds Mine she didn't go straight to the keep. Instead, she headed to the stables where she had seen that beautiful stallion. Nobody was around this late in the day, so she snuck in easily and approached the horse, which allowed her to come near easily. "You deserve so much more. You may have lost a rider, but you have gained a loyal mistress," she whispered into the horser's ear. Then she opened the gate and climbed atop. She led the horse from the stables and went from trot to canter as she headed to the keep. Once she reached the front entrance, she got down and led the horse to the door. Finally, she said the magic words, "Serve me well," and kissed the horse on the jaw. Ghostfoot then transformed into a handsome young man about the same age as her, with dark hair and blue eyes. He was wearing an ornate blue and gold suit of royalty, and he knelt to say, "My princess, I shall adore you for all eternity. Anything you ask of me shall be done with forthright haste." Dimmadel smiled at him and touched his cheek, then replied, "You shall be known henceforth as Bonder, as I already feel my own great attachment to you. Now let's go and introduce you to the staff," she said, then opened the door to the keep and pulled him inside. Together they went through and he was introduced as her suitor to Lord Arklay, Lady Azure, and anyone else available. Everyone could tell that Dimmadel was in a quite splendid mood, a good change from the moody and rageful princess who had left them. They threw a welcoming celebration and explained that they had just begun to grieve for her when she arrived. They had become certain they had lost their ruler in her absence and were overjoyed to have her back. Dimmadel took this moment to laugh and eat and drink. She had a bath to clean all the stenches from that universe and hell off of her. Then as she was just thinking of retiring for the night, Bosco approached her and said, "My liege, we have captured 2 of the conspirators and have them in the dungeon. We haven't had much luck retrieving any information from them, but it certainly seems there may be even more of them working to the same aim." Dimmadel felt her face darken, as the rage from her lost companions compounded with the recent loss of coven members. "Take me to them. Now," she said ominously. Bosco nodded and led her down a spiral flight of stairs that went underground until it emptied out into a long and wide hall filled with side-by-side cells, about 10 in total. Already down there was also Nibblefinger, who appeared to be trying to jab at the woman in the cell with a long stick. Dimmadel shot him a sharp look, and he stopped and straightened in an unintentional mockery of order. She then approached the cells. It looked like Icard had been knocked unconscious as he had a huge lump on his forehead. The girl, however, seemed relatively unharmed other than a split lip. Dimmadel looked around and saw a chair, so she grabbed it and dragged it over to sit in. Then, looking deeply into the eyes of the unnamed woman, Dimmadel said, "So I hear you plan to kill me. Why would that be, I wonder?" The END are for now. I would like to thank a great many of the writers that I read growing up. Rick Riordan for the Percy Jackson and Heroes of Olympus series. J.K. Rowling for the Harry Potter series. Erin Hunter for the Warriors series. Brandon Mull for the Beyond Us, Five Kingdoms, and Fablehaven series. Kim Harrison for the Hollows series. Stephen King for just about every book he has written. Shakespeare specifically for Macbeth.